If you're an SSC aspirant, you know just how confusing some of those official notifications can be, right? Well, today we're going to demystify one that causes a lot of anxiety for students, the withheld result status. So take a look at this. We're going to decode a real notice from the Staff Selection Commission that honestly often causes a whole lot of stress. Now, these notices might look brief, but trust me, understanding what they actually mean is absolutely crucial for your entire selection process. Okay, so here's our game plan. We'll break this down into 4 simple parts. First, we'll figure out what this notice actually means. Second, we'll understand why a result gets withheld. Then we'll map out what happens next in the process. And finally, we'll wrap up with the key takeaways for you. Stick with me, and I promise all your doubts will be cleared up by the end. All right, let's jump right into Section 1 and break down that official language into simple, easy-to-understand terms. Here's the official line from the notice itself. Now, I get it. Terms like sealed cover and nodal force can sound pretty intimidating. It might even make you think there's a problem. But that's not what's going on at all. Let's dig into what this really means. To put it simply, this just means that the SSC has finished its part of the job. Think of it like a relay race. The SSC has passed the baton, which is your file, to the next department. In this case, that's the CRPF, who will handle the final steps. So the most important thing to get here is that the process isn't stuck. It's actually moving forward. So this brings us to the really big question. Why does a result get that withheld status in the first place? In Section 2, we're going to explore exactly that. Okay, first things first, and this is so important to remember, withheld does not mean rejected. It is just a temporary status. All it means is that the commission needs to do some extra verification before they can declare your final result. So really, there is no need to panic. It's just a procedural hold. So why does this hold even happen? Well, the reasons are usually pretty standard. It could be something like a minor mismatch in your documents, or maybe they need to re-verify your biometrics. Sometimes a result is put on hold to double-check eligibility criteria or to look into a suspicion of unfair means. These are all just standard procedural checks. Now, I've got a quick question for you. Before watching this, did you know the real meaning of a withheld result? Be honest. Let me know down in the comments. I'm curious to see how many of us were a little confused by this term. Okay, so now we understand why a result might be withheld. But what happens next? In Section 3, we're going to map out the next steps, which are actually hinted at right in the notice itself. You probably saw the term nodal force in the notice. So what is that? Well, a nodal force is simply the main agency that's been put in charge of a specific task. In the context of this Constable GD exam, the CRPF has been appointed as the nodal force. They're the ones who are now responsible for the final verification. The process from this point on is pretty straightforward. Step 1. The SSC has already handed over all the data for the withheld candidates to the CRPF. Step 2, the CRPF will now conduct its own detailed verification for each of these candidates. And finally, Step 3, once that verification is all done, the CRPF itself will be the one to declare the final result. This is a key point. It means the next official update will come from the CRPF, not from the SSC. Before we move on to the final section, let's just do a quick recap. The single most important thing to take away from this notice is that the process has not stopped. It has simply moved on to the next stage. The SSC's role is complete, and the CRPF is going to handle things from here. Let's move on to our final and most important section. This is where we'll summarize everything into a few simple, actionable points that every single SSC aspirant should remember. So here are your key takeaways. 1. Withheld is a temporary status, not a final rejection. 2. This is a completely standard part of the official process. 3. There's absolutely no need to panic. Things are moving along as they should. 4. Always follow the official SSC website for authentic updates. And 5. The Nodal Force, in this case the CRPF, is now in charge of all the next steps. If this explainer helped clear up the meaning of the notice and maybe eased some of your worries, please do me a favor and give it a like. And be sure to share it with any friends you know whose results might also be withheld. And hey, for all the official notices, PDFs, and regular updates, you can find a link to our Telegram channel in the description below. It's a great way to stay informed. And of course, if you want to keep getting clear and simple guidance for all your SSC exam preparations, make sure you don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Before you go, one last question for you. What is your single biggest doubt about the SSC process? Is it eligibility, normalization, or maybe document verification? Let us know in the comments below.